Getting ready to take on spring? Make your first move with the reliable performance and power of Steel battery tools. From hedge trimmers and mowers to string trimmers and more, right now you can save $50 on select battery tool sets. Real Steel. Offer valid on select AK system sets through June 16, 2024. See participating retailer for details.
Good sleep should come naturally, and with the new Natural Hybrid mattress, it can. A collaboration between Lisa and West Elm, the Natural Hybrid is expertly crafted from natural latex, natural wool, and certified safe foams to elevate your sleep sanctuary and support a greener tomorrow. Breathable organic cotton and moisture-wicking Joma wool consistently provide cool and comfortable slumber. Every purchase helps fuel Lisa's work with shelters and those in need. Visit lisa.com to learn more. That's LEESA.com.
It's time to get inside the Giants Huddle.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
On Giants.com.
I like it, I like it, I like it.
And the Giants mobile app.
Boom, give me some juice.
Part of the Giants Podcast Network.
Let's roll.
Welcome to another edition of the Giants Huddle Podcast, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants. I'm John Schmeelk. Very happy to be joined by senior NFL reporter for ESPN, Jeremy Fowler. Jeremy, how are you, man?
I'm great. I'm glad to be at the Giants.
Absolutely.
It's my first camp tour. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, talk about it. So you're on the East Coast here. You're in Connecticut.
Yeah.
So now you're heading out to L.A. You show up to the Giants as a reporter. You're trying to get information. You're trying to get a feel for these teams before the season starts. So what's top of mind for you when you come here, you show up, and you talk to Joe Shane, you talk to Brian Davey, you talk to Daniel Jones? What are your goals?
You know, really my goals are to just make whatever pertinent observations I can, catch up with some people. A lot of times it's just sort of maintenance, you know, like you want to
maintain the relationship,
yeah,
right?
You know, like I said hi to Brian Dable and Joe Shane real quick, and then, Daniel Jones, caught him walking off the field. I just wanted to talk to him about how I thought he did a lot for just being 8 months off of ACL. He's
moving
been active.
Good,
it's
right?
not like they're holding him out really, or restricting him in any way that I saw. He even ran one up the middle at the goal line, so I just was kind of interested in that, you know. So anything I'm curious about, I just try to follow up on. But it's late July. There's not a lot of pressure in this environment from my standpoint.
Yeah, and obviously everyone has kind of gotten a closer look at the Giants. Usually a team, 6 wins, picking 6th overall.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a million people here at camp, but I think offseason Hard Knocks changes that a little bit, right? So everyone's really gotten a close look at what this offseason has been. So how has that impacted you and how you view the team in terms of how you've seen the Giants offseason play out up close and personal on HBO?
So it's interesting. I mean, I think it was funny even talking to some people here. It's like, are the cameras off? It's kind of a running joke, right? Because I guess those cameras went off after the draft, apparently. But for March and April, there were a lot of bugs around here. So
Mike's everywhere, my friend.
Mike's everywhere, yeah. So, well, it's certainly a glimpse into sort of the strategy and the negotiation part of it, which usually you don't get. So I thought that was cool that the Giants were open to being vulnerable enough to do that, because I think a lot of teams wouldn't have done that. And it shows that they were awfully interested in all options in the draft, including quarterback, and I think that was reinforced. You heard that around draft time. I thought that was cool, how much they really did kick around ideas and look into it at the top there. And, yeah, it's interesting. You really walk away, or at least today you have in the back of your mind, okay, Devin Singletary's out there, got a nice contract in free agency, good player. So is he going to be able to produce whatever percentage that they're leaving on the table with Saquon being gone? And how does that money allocation work, right? So
of course,
if Singletary's making a good salary but half of what Saquon wanted, then can he provide 80% maybe of what Saquon did, or 70%? Like, that's kind of what my calculation was when I was watching, because he's pretty involved. It looks like they will line him up out wide. They'll put him all over the place, trying to get him involved in the offense. And I think it seemed pretty evident that they're going to do a lot of quick game stuff, and maybe it's because of the offensive line, some of the struggles they've had, although I expect them to be better there, but they wanted...
Hard to be worse, Jeremy.
Hard to be worse. So they wanted some decisiveness, it looked like, from the quarterback spot, which is where a guy like Singletary can come in handy.
This is Doug Gottlieb from the Doug Gottlieb Show. The 2024 Toyota Tacoma and Tundra both rank in the top 10 for resale value vehicles for 2024, according to Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. So choose a Toyota and be confident that your vehicle will hold its value. Year after year, ride after ride, visit buyatoyota.com to find out more. Vehicles projected resale value is specific to the 2024 model year. For more information, visit Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelley Blue Book Company, Inc. Toyota, let's go places.
You're ready for a change. Payday comes early with Citizens, so go to that retreat. New you moves to the country. Now you're raising goats and launching a lifestyle brand. Are you ready for all that life brings?
No question about it. From someone that breaks a ton of news around the free agency period, and you talk to agents, you talk to GM, so I feel like you, as much as anyone that's not actually doing it, you understand how this process works. Did anything that you saw from the inside on Hard Knocks surprise you as someone that tries to break stories and you talk to people on either end and you know how this back and forth process works?
So I wouldn't say a surprise. It was interesting. Well, obviously, I think that one of the more interesting nuggets from what I saw was John Mara and him commenting on Saquon in the room with Joe Shea and everybody else, But it was pretty clear that from the top they had emboldened Joe to just do his job and do what you feel is best.
Which is what you want, by the way.
Right. It just seems like an interesting song and dance because obviously the Giants had a threshold for what they're willing to pay. But you have to sort of tease it out and see what happens and what the player can do with his own market. So, there's that song and dance of how full frontal, how honest can you be in those conversations. So you felt that where both sides were kind of teasing a little bit, and trying to tap dance around the conversation until you get to a point where you have to act, So I guess that's his typical negotiation strategy. I found that interesting, but not necessarily surprising.
Got it. Football season is coming, and so is the next college semester. If you need funding, a Citizens student loan could help you pay for 100% of your school certified costs. Get your rate quote in about 2 minutes at citizensbank.com/pay-for-college. All right, let's go big picture here. Let's start NFC East, Jeremy. How do you view this division? And I'm going to let's kind of go rapid fire team by team. Let's start with the Cowboys, where there's so much uncertainty with coach lamed up, 3 superstars looking for contracts. First of all, what are you hearing about those 3 guys, more specifically Prescott and Lamb? Because Micah Parsons, they have a couple years still to figure that out. Do you expect something to happen with those 2 guys before the season? Who are they focusing on first? How do you see that playing out in Dallas?
Yeah, I do expect them to work something out. They're going to have to. They've waited long enough where the markets are robust. They are what they are.
Robust is a good word.
Dak Prescott, I don't think he's afraid of free agency necessarily, but he wants to stay in Dallas. So my guess is they're going to let Tua Tagovailoa or Jordan Love or some of these other quarterback deals come into place, and then Dak will jump in and back clean up there. It's going to hurt financially, but I think they'll end up doing it.
How much of that is the agent trying to wait, too, to those contracts that get done so he can also jump over that, too,
For sure. There are benefits to being last, I don't necessarily think Dak has to be last, but there are benefits to that I'm sure he's weighing and his agent is weighing. So, it's tough because if Dak is indeed waiting on that process to play out, do you try to sneak in a deal with CeeDee Lamb now?
Right.
And how do you prioritize? I do think Dak's more of the priority, and the problem is I don't think Dallas wants to pay. Well, I know they don't want to pay what Justin Jefferson got in Minnesota. So it's like it becomes tough. Is he willing to take just under that or not? His stance is my production speaks for itself and the market speaks for itself. So it's tough. I do think they'll work something out with at least one of the players before week 1, but they got some work to do. And it's still a good team. I mean, they're back-to-back 12-win seasons coming off that. They've lost a few pieces, but they draft well. I think they're an underrated team as far as the draft and how they pick guys. So I still think the offensive line is going to be really good. How are they going to run the ball?
Good question.
With Ezekiel Elliott, that's still a question, with his age and losing Tony Pollard. So if they can figure that out, I think they'll be fine because the defense should still be good.
You love turf. You're good at it. So you start a turf biz. Business grows, your savings grow. Become the most celebrated name in turf. Are you ready for all that life brings?
How do you view Philly? They were I still think they're the most talented team in the division.
Yeah.
But man, what happened at the end of last year is hard to ignore. I know they changed both their coordinators, but it was such a collapse.
Yeah.
Where the team that was playing in week 2 just looked completely different than the team playing in week 17. So how do you see that playing out with the new coordinators and how Nick Sirianni is going to try to right that ship?
Well, as far as talent, they still have top 10 players at every offensive position, literally. So not many teams can say that. So I think by default, they should be pretty good. Kellen Moore will have a major say on things, which is a departure a little bit. Nick Sirianni, who's always been very interested in the X's and O's and been heavily involved in the offense, I do believe, and my sense is that he's taken a step back. And they're still keeping a lot of the principles that they ran with the Eagles offense with Jalen Hurts and the run pass option stuff. But it's going to be Kellen Moore's show, and I do think they will benefit from that as a result, just a new voice in there in the quarterback room. And I don't know. It's the defense, to me, is more of a question mark because they need leaders, right? You're losing Fletcher Cox. You still have Brandon Graham, but you need like a new kind of face of the franchise there, particularly in the front seven. So maybe it's Jalen Carter, who's a major talent, but they need somebody to sort of craft an identity for them up front in the front seven. I'm curious to see how that goes.
This is Lunchbox from the Sore Losers. Toyota is the best resale value brand for 2024, according to Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. So choose Toyota and be confident that your vehicle will hold its value year after year, ride after ride. And check out the all-new 25 Camry or a stylish and affordable Corolla. Visit buyatoyota.com for more. Vehicles projected resale value is specific to the 2024 model year. For more information, visit Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelley Blue Book Company, Inc. Toyota, let's go places.
So as you now begin this is your first stop on your training camp tour, you're going to head out to the West Coast, see a bunch of teams out there. What are some of the main storylines that you're trying to really get your finger on and follow this offseason that you think is really going to determine what the character of this NFL season is overall?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll go to the West Coast and I'll hit 9 teams out there. Really excited about it. And really I just try to make whatever observations I can, get any sort of nuggets I can develop. And like a good example is I was out in LA 3 years ago, and Cooper Kupp was literally getting his name announced every play, and it was first year Matthew Stafford. I'm like, this guy's going to catch 130 balls this year, because it was obvious to me.
Yeah.
But he wasn't really a superstar yet, and then that sort of played out. But you can only get those kind of observations when you're at a practice or you see it. And sometimes, I've been a beat writer where you're there every day. But if you come in cold for one day, you might notice something that's obvious to others, but you kind of get used to it because you're just around it all the time.
It's almost seeing the forest from the trees type of situation, right?
It's from 30,000 feet you're coming in. So I just try to make observations like that, learn about the team, catch up with people, try to get a good exclusive interview with a head coach or a GM or a player, and just try to get exclusive content that way. But I don't necessarily go into it with a lot of themes. I mean, I think quarterback money is a big theme now. I'm curious to talk to some front offices about that, and just how do you manage that when now we're looking at $60 million quarterbacks. We're knocking on the door of that, So, I mean, Daniel Jones, for as maligned as he's been, he's a bargain right now in a way. So I'm curious to see how teams are budgeting for that now more than ever.
All right, then final question. As you kind of we all embark on this 2024 season together, what do you think some of the underrated storylines are around the league? Either teams that maybe you think might surprise, things that you think can really guide this year? Anything that kind of sticks out to you as you try to, get your mind wrapped around what 2024 might look like?
I mean, as far as surprises, I actually think the Commanders could be a surprise.
Oh, why is that?
I think Jaden Daniels is going to be really good. They have skill position guys. Offensive line is a question mark, but I think the defense will be sneaky good.
I like that.
I don't know. I think they're going to be in the mix there, maybe hovering around 500 or maybe trying to sneak into the playoffs. I'm going out to LA. I'll see the Chargers. They're interesting to me. I do think with Jim Harbaugh, they'll have a level of toughness and run the ball mentality that I think will resonate with Justin Herbert. Just that whole project. He's an immense talent that hasn't been able to put it all together. Maybe this is the year.
Jeremy, this was awesome. Thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it. Safe travels. And everybody, we'll see you next time on the Giants Huddle podcast, brought to you by Citizens.
Appreciate it.
Good sleep should come naturally, and with a new Natural Hybrid mattress, it can. A collaboration between Lisa and West Elm, the Natural Hybrid is expertly crafted from natural latex, natural wool, and certified safe foams to elevate your sleep sanctuary and support a greener tomorrow. Breathable organic cotton and moisture-wicking Joma wool consistently provide cool and comfortable slumber. Every purchase helps fuel Lisa's work with shelters and those in need. Visit lisa.com to learn more. That's LEESA.com.
Getting ready to take on spring? Make your first move with the reliable performance and power of Steel battery tools. From hedge trimmers and mowers to string trimmers and more, right now you can save $50 on select battery tool sets. Real Steel. Offer valid on select AK system sets through June 16, 2024. See participating retailer for details.